to build a presidential pavilion. When people are starving, when people are hungry, when people have no school fees, when people have no uniform. What the hell is going on with President William Ruto? You want to starve yourself from truth. You just want to be butterest. And you only that you holding public office not for the good of public, but to line up your pockets and the pockets of your family. Washindwe, Riswa. If their idea was to send Raila to AU so that he does not give them trouble here, Raila is just one man. They are left with over 53 million Kenyans who are going to give them a very hard time. And those balloons which are, which we saw in Naivasha, we are going to burst them. We'll blow up those balloons. What gives him the idea that he can do as he wishes? This is not his personal house. This is not Sogoi. I think the president needs to stop being simplistic.
Is there a vacuum post Raila?
Play one clip where Ruto has spoken truthfully.
The state has limited control over e-citizen. Our Auditor General, Nancy Gathungu, has said, saying that there is reason to believe that the money passing through that account might not be well secure. Our Controller of Budget, Dr. Margaret Nyakango, has also raised concerns over government utilization of 51 billion over the last 6 months. Our conversation for today is about fiscal discipline, or is it indiscipline, in Kenya Kwanza's administration, where we left our conversation yesterday with Philip Kisia. Welcome to Philip Kisia Unscripted. My name is Jadiel Kabiro, where we talk about policies and politics, hoping to help our political leaders to make better policy decisions and political moves. PK, how are you doing today?
Well, Jed, I'm still hanging in.
Yeah.
I'm holding in strong. And I hope that Kenyans, despite the pain, are holding in very, very strong.
Yesterday, ulitoa speed governor. You went all in on the president. Yesterday, you were bleeding for the country. I wonder where today's conversation will take us. But you look at, first, let's start with e-citizen. Auditor General of Kenya, Nancy Gathungu, says these billions passing through this platform, government has limited control. You listen to the founder of e-citizen, who has licensed it to the government, saying government has control. They only come in where there is a problem to be fixed. Government can actually control the e-citizen platform. Who should we believe first, the founder or the Auditor General?
Let me, Jed, first of all, let me start off by saying that we must celebrate two ladies. They are heroines. They must be celebrated. This is Dr. Nyakango,
yes,
Controller of Budgets, and Auditor General Gathungu. These are women of valor. These are still women. May God bless them. They are doing their jobs in line with the Constitution of 2010. And they have told Dr. William Samoei Ruto on his face that we are holding constitutional offices. We are working for the people of Kenya, and we are not going to work for your stomachs. We are not going to allow you to line your pockets using public funds. Period. Take it or leave it. These are women to be celebrated, Jed. And I hope and I pray that more of such women can find themselves in office. These are the people, I love these people.
Just this week, the reports
I am
that they have
telling
given
you,
us.
these are the people of Kenya. If we were to transform, Jed, for heaven's sake, God has given Kenya blessed people, people with the brains. But what some people lack is what? Courage. What some people lack is just being truthful. You want to starve yourself from truth. You just want to be butterest. And you only that you holding public office not for the good of public, but to line up your pockets and the pockets of your family. Washindwe, Riswa. Who can we believe? We cannot believe a character who is benefiting from the system, who has been given a job, who has been told how to execute the job, who we even don't know how he got the job. We can only trust the Auditor General or controller of budgets.
Yeah.
We will not listen to any other person. We have no business listening to him. Maybe the person who can listen to him is William Samoei Ruto. Okay?
Yeah.
And these people, these good people, have told us very clearly that this thing is stinking, that this thing is bad. And Jade, I said this in the previous interview. I said this so-called platform is shrouded with a lot of mystique. We actually don't know who is behind this. This is a ghost. I said here, and I've said it, that somebody is allowed to collect billions of public funds, billions. I'm told it's over almost 350, maybe going to 400 million per day of public funds with no sweat. He's not sweating. The guy is being paid for every transaction, 50 to 100 bob. And I asked this before. Forget about even how he got the job. I asked this before. Why was it, who decided to be 50 shillings and not 100 shillings? Because if you're serving the entire country, economies of scale, these costs should come down. Why is it 50 shillings? Why? I can tell you. Because maybe the two ladies were being very diplomatic. I have no business being diplomatic. I would say things as they are. This is theft of public funds. Because why would you charge so much and you have thousands of transactions going on in a day? Why would you charge 50? Why would you charge 100? And if it is in the control of government, why can't the government explain to us how they're controlling it? Already, the people we as Kenyans have employed to do the job are telling us no. We are not in control. We actually don't know what is going on. We don't know how much is collected. We don't know. We only know how much they're supposed to be paid per every transaction, but we don't know how much is collected. Because if you are not in control of such a system, I can for sure tell you that there's a lot of darkness in that type of an operation. And you see, if these guys were prudent with public funds, and this guy comes in and says, okay, fine, there is a cost of collecting money through that platform. What is the cost? Is 1 shilling.
Yes.
Okay, if you made a cent or 20 cents per every transaction, is that not good enough? Yes. That's number one. Number two, because this free money you brought to you, you're not sweating. The people are already there that you're taxing, you're collecting money from. You're not, it's not hard sweat. The cost of every transaction should be managed. But I can tell you, Jed, from where I'm sitting, these people decided to be 50 shillings, and people know how much the money that is being made from this platform and the money that is being shared runs into hundreds of millions of shillings. It's
350 million shillings per day.
Per day.
From 50
That is what they are telling us.
Yes.
But the controllers are saying, I am telling you, my administration was the first one to roll in the public sector. In the public sector. They were the first ones to introduce an electronic payment system. So I understand this thing very well. If they were serious, they would have worked out this thing and said, okay, without even this platform, we are collecting, say, 300 million without the platform. So what value is this guy bringing? So from the base figure, which is 300 million, probably per transaction will pay you a shilling because you have not added value. You're only collecting on behalf. Yes. You are sitting somewhere in a kiosk and collecting your money. But the improvement in revenue, that's why we should be talking. We say because you have come in, we are collecting more. We'll pay you slightly more above the base. But these are guys who have just decided, even what we are collecting without this platform, they are paying some convenience or commission fee. How can they explain this? These people have any morality in them?
The Auditor General is concerned with this revenue leakage, compromised accountability, a system unavailability or downtime, security vulnerability. In her report, she says lack of full control of the system exposes the government to the risk of revenue leakage, as I've mentioned, security vulnerabilities, and goes ahead and says that significant control of the system by the vendor has made it difficult for the Government Digital Payments Unit's GDPU to onboard some services. Right now we have 19,000 services on the system. You are reading a lot of malice in this, Kisia.
The whole thing is shrouded with a lot of mistake. Okay? That you have given one person, one vendor, the responsibility of collecting all our money on our behalf. Okay? We don't know what was the best figure. Okay, maybe we know, but we pretend that we don't know what the best figure was. The controller on general is is casting aspersion and saying there are things there. There is the issue of security. There is the issue of leakages that have not been dealt with. And you know, any ICT program is born to having these international fraudsters cracking in. We don't know how many times, how secure that system is. We don't know. How secure is it? Because it is not in our control. There is somebody else who is in control of the system. The question is, how secure is the platform? Those are public funds. How secure are we? Can we get that report? Leave alone the way the vendor was actually procured. Forget about how they were procured. But we're asking questions. If the controller and auditor general cannot have a helicopter view on that infrastructure, on that ICT project, the auditor general has no say. Yet the auditor general is the custodian of our money, our assets. I think we have completely lost morality.
We have to switch and come to the controller of budget now. Dr. Margaret Nyakango raising concerns over utilization of 51 billion, saying this is money that was not budgeted for, and then state organs go and ask for this money. Some denied. They go ahead and use money. 700 million State House used for construction of a presidential dais, despite the control of budget saying no. And my big question should be now, how does this affect the democracy of this country and accountability in Kenya? Because you're looking at this money, according to Article 223, they should be used for emergency purpose. And if you're using it, you should seek approval from Parliament within 2 months. What does this mean for the country?
Jed, tragic. It's a sad state of affairs that people are treating public funds as if it is a personal wallet. You know the way you go into your pocket, you just remove your wallet and use the money the way you wish. It is the way William Ruto's administration is using public funds. And if you look at the Public Finance Act that is covered under Chapter 12 of our Constitution, it is very clear on what public funds, the principles of public funds, okay? Public finances, sorry. It talks about openness and accountability, right? It talks about public participation, because this is their money. It's not your money. It's not your family's money. It talks about a public finance system that shall promote an equitable society. Why equitable? Because any money collected on our behalf should be used for our purposes, and we are the ones who should guarantee continuous generation of those resources. And when we fail to meet those obligations, they will be transferred to future generations. Okay. The same chapter also talks about the burdens and benefits of this resource envelope. Yeah, should be used for own proportion. Yeah, so because when you're borrowing, remember that you're not borrowing for your own benefit. It also talks about prudence, that public finances shall be used in the most prudent manner. That financial management systems shall be responsible, and physical reporting shall be very clear. Now, when you look at chapter 12 Article 223, it is very clear. It says that in event there is an emergency and there is need to use public funds, these are not your personal funds, that you will make a requisition to the control of budgets, come with justification that we need to use these funds for A, B, C, D. Okay? The control of budget, who is mandated by the Constitution, will then say, this is an emergency. I therefore approve this amount for A, B, C, D. Okay? It also says that even after that is done, you must go to Parliament within 2 months. But if they are on recess for whatever reason, from the time they sit, within 2 weeks, you would have you seek approval from Parliament. Now, this is a government which does not respect the Constitution of Kenya. It therefore does not respect the people of Kenya. They think they can use public funds as if it's personal property, personal money. They must be called to account. They need to be dealt with. Okay? And I think it's coming to a time, I heard my brother Musalia saying that now Raila, we should stop living in denial that Raila is going. Yes, he's going. Raila is just one person. But Raila is leaving behind more than 53 million Kenyans who are going to fight for their rights. If their idea was to send Raila to AU so that he does not give them trouble here, Raila is just one man. They are left with over 53 million Kenyans who are going to give them a very hard time. And those balloons which are, which we saw in Naivasha, we are going to burst them. We'll blow up those balloons. We're not going to give them a chance. Nonsense.
Then, as if this is not enough, Kisia, we go to the Hustler's Mansion, Deputy President's residence, now set for renovations and refurbishment, with 600 million put in place to refurbish this house that was constructed at just 450 million shillings. You listen to the president speaking about renovations and refurbishments. Let's first listen to that, come back, tell me something about it.
And I want to tell the good people who want to assist us with the renovation that for Kenya Kwanza, renovating the residence of the Deputy President is not a priority. The priority is to sort out the hunger of the close to 3 million Kenyans who today are sleeping hungry. There are many people who are obsessed with positions and with largesse about leaders. I want to persuade them for a difference that please, we have 3 million Kenyans today facing starvation. It is only inhuman if anybody thinks that while we have 3 million Kenyans facing starvation, that the priority is to renovate the residence of the Deputy President.
He said that is not the priority, Kisia. This is not the priority of Kenya Kwanza's administration, but this is where we are. What are we looking at in the near future?
You have listened to that video. My good friend, William Samoei Ruto, His Excellency, he's talked about renovation of a very beautiful home. I've been there several times when he was a deputy president. He's my friend, I keep on telling you. I've had tea there, I've had a meal there. It's a beautiful place, beautifully done. Okay? And I agreed with him when he said it is not a priority to renovate that place using double the amount that was used to construct it. Now, he talked very well that time. He even reminded his friend, who was his boss then, President Kenyatta, that please, there are over 3 million people who are starving. They have no food. Can I remind William Ruto that there are over 4 million people who are still starving? Can I remind my good friend, William Ruto, that there are over maybe 300,000 students who have not reported to school because they have no school fees, they have no money to buy uniform? Where is morality here, Jed? That you want to spend 700 million Kenya shillings when we have facing economic hardships to renovate a place which actually does not require renovations. What is so urgent about renovating Gachagua's residence? What is so urgent? And even if we must renovate, must it cost us 700 million shillings of public funds? The other day he built a parlor, a pavilion, presidential pavilion. We've had how many presidents before him? 4. They never spent 700 million shillings. Unauthorized money. It is not authorized. He just went bulldozed, spent 700 million Kenya shillings, not his personal money, to build a presidential pavilion. When people are starving, when people are hungry, when people have no school fees, when people have no uniform. What the hell is going on with President William Ruto? Is he not ashamed? Morality has flown out of his system? That your people who you are leading, the hustlers you are leading, cannot even access money for food, and you are living large on the taxes that have been collected? Why has William Ruto got his priorities upside down? I get disturbed because William's background, he was not born with a silver spoon in his mouth. He should be modest the way he spends public funds. I don't mind William spending money on belts and jackets worth 2 million shillings. So long as it is his money, I don't mind him spending that money. But I have a serious problem him spending public funds as though these are family funds. Please, have some good manners for once. Spend money prudently, as per the Constitution. The Constitution talks about Chapter 2, spending public funds prudently.
What is the place of...
The other one I saw again, Jed, and you journalists, you people, journalists in this country, you are lazy. Sorry, you're my friends.
Why so?
You are lazy.
Why?
During my tenure, when I took over as the first CEO, KICC, it was in a deplorable condition. There's history documented. The thing was completely finished. But how much funds were allocated to me to bring it to international standards? How much? Less than 250 million from the treasury. I also had to raise my own money internally. Less than 250 million. Okay? I put in 7-passenger new lifts, modern lifts from Schindler. I put in a presidential lift. I put in a goods lift. I put in VIP lift. 7. I renovated the entire complex. I put a standby generator. We redid the entire electrical works. We brought it in. We bought new furniture from Malaysia using that little money. Now, we are told that these people have no shame, Jed. We are told they spent 1.7 billion in a few weeks. 1.7 billion, for heaven's sake, William. Public funds. Where did that money go to? I think President William Ruto must explain to Kenyans. If he does not explain to Kenyans, this man, I think, is born, the committee bond. How can you just spend public money that way? 1.7 billion. Do you think that pocket change just on one state corporation? What did that money do? What did he do? Can he explain to Kenyans? He must explain these are not his personal funds, for heaven's sake.
What is the place of Parliament? What is the place of the controller of budget in all this? Because we need to create a balance between the executive and the legislature. Let's start from there. What is the place when you look at money being spent? The way you say it's not family money, it's not his money, it's public money, it's being spent the way they want to. What is the place of balance in Kenya Kwanza administration when it comes to dealing with Parliament?
You see, there's no Parliament, Jed. Let's start from there. We have no Parliament. We have a bunch of people in a house who rubber stamp the executive. So there's no Parliament. Because if this Parliament was functioning, they would be asking hard questions. You have a leader who has defined the Constitution, who does not respect the Constitution. Then you as parliamentarians, you just rubber stamp. They should demand that his ministers for finance and those in charge appear before Parliament to answer hard questions. Where is this money going? How was it approved? Why didn't you follow the laid down procedure of approving these public funds? Failure to which, if this Parliament is serious, they should pass a vote of no confidence in William Ruto. They should do. Because if they don't, and I pray for this country, if they don't, you know, I mean, I can see anger boiling. It's just that some of us have this platform, we can come and vent our anger. But I'm telling you, there are over 50 million people who are out there who are so angry. They have reached the boiling point. They are soon going to burst. And there will be chaos in this country. God forbid. We have no parliament. If we had a parliament, these things will not be happening. Because their job is to oversight. What are they oversighting when chapter 12 of the Constitution, which deals with public finance, they don't talk about William Ruto finance, it talks about public finance. It talks about clearly how the funds must be utilized, how you must draw money from the consolidated fund. If there's an emergency, what emergency is this?
Then my question is,
there's no parliament.
Are we in a place where it's everyone for themselves, God for us all? Because when you look at presidential dais, control of budget refused. And then the money was still went to State House. And then we look at this Gachagua's thing, it's also in place. They're going to, in plan, 600 billion is going to be used.
700 million.
What are we going to do now?
You see, Kenyans must make a decision. If you have an administration that can defile the Constitution, they can defile the Constitution. And you know, there's no country where the Constitution is disobeyed and the government survives. Because it's a free for all. So if you're disobeying the Constitution and disregarding the Constitution, expect the same from the people of Kenya. Expect the same.
No.
Yeah. It's a free for all. Why would you expect the people to abide by the Constitution, to respect the Constitution, when you yourself, leading from the front, you are defiling the Constitution? You must also be defiled.
Are we looking at a coup? Are we looking at what we are seeing in Guinea now, because their military have taken power, dissolved government? Is this what we are looking at? 4 coups last year. Is Kenya going to be among those
Jed, people, these are things that people fear talking about, but these are possibilities. I had predicted, and you can go and check back on the records, I had predicted that by end of last year, 5 governments would fall in Africa. I said 4, 3 in Western Africa, 1 in Central, and possibly another one in East and Central Africa. Okay? 4 went down. The 5th one is down. If these people continue with bad manners, the only thing I can, it's hard to say, is that we do not have institutions that we had in the 70s and 80s, which worked for the people, which worked for this country. Now we have institutions led by people who are working for themselves. They are not looking at how their actions benefit the people. They are looking at how the actions they take benefit themselves. So they are busy lining up their pockets. But if we had a system where things work, yeah, a few people, 5 people would call somebody in a room and say, okay, hand in your resignation. Hand in. Put your resignation here.
Then, what's your advice for William Ruto? Because you look at the Auditor General, you look at the control of budget, it seems like we are going down. No one is respecting our constitution. Not it seems like no one is respecting our constitution in government. What is your advice for William Ruto, looking at what is happening in Central Africa and West Africa?
You know, let him not take the people of Kenya for granted. The people of Kenya gave him an opportunity to provide leadership. But if he continues in the manner that he's behaving, he will sooner than later find himself out of the office. So let him go back read the Constitution. If he has no time, let people read for him and remind him what he swore by. He never swore to defy the Constitution. He swore to protect the Constitution of 2010. He has shown us that he does not respect it. He has shown us that he'll continue defiling this Constitution. And I am sorry, the ending will not be as good as he thinks. Right now, he thinks he can bully about everybody, people around. You know, he doesn't care. He doesn't care even if you complain. He doesn't. Does he care? But we'll soon catch up with him. Other fellows who have been arrogant and who have disrespected the Constitution, other leaders elsewhere, people have caught up with them. Okay? And the other one, last year you saw him saying, please, he was now pleading with you, please, talk, please talk. You remember that guy?
Yeah.
You'll find himself in that situation. Please talk. And nobody, people will be laughing.
I think it is Niger.
Please talk. He'll be in that situation very soon. And people will be laughing. Look at the TV just laughing. And social media. Let him mend his ways.
All right. Good place to wrap up. Not a good place, but we have to wrap up. Mend your ways, President William Ruto. That's from Philip Kisia, leadership and governance expert. Of course, we have so many people that can advise this administration, and we do hope they can listen. Till we do talk again, thank you for tuning in. Kisia, message for weekend.
The people of Kenya, you have been always resilient. Please don't allow yourself to get any lower than where you are today. Fight for your rights, even with the absence of Baba. If Baba is going, we wish him well, but Kenya belongs to all of us. Fight for your rights and put people where they belong.
Put people where they belong. Have yourself a lovely weekend.
What gives him the idea that he can do as he wishes? This is not his personal house, this is not for going. I think the president needs to stop being simplistic.
Is there a vacuum post Raila?
Play one clip where Ruto has spoken truthfully.